You're doing it again. Child sex trafficking again. Pizzagate again. We know it's in the script. It's in the script. It's all mapped out. It's the one issue that will get your attention. That's why it's designed that way. It's one thing we can all agree on, to protect the children. That's why it's in the script. Because it wants us to protect our children, but it's a little hard to do that when we're still acting like children. So that's why it keeps doing that. Did they ever go to jail? Can they? Is that the way it is? The 6 and the 9, the 7-8 show going on there, all that for the 3s. But you're just like a mask enforcer out there, scaring the children. What happens if 99% of people believe that the elite are doing that? What's next? What's the goal? Is that all there is to that game? It's symbolic. If you take your intention and just look at it, and now you're feeding it, you're fueling it. That's not what a man does, because it knows what that is and why they're doing that. Look how giddy they are. I look at Hillary. You really think she's doing that stuff? Would they just be flaunting it and all that? No, they're just doing their act, and they take pleasure in it. But you gotta wake up. That's not. It's symbolic on the stage. I mean, my goodness. I have my days mixed up, but 711 is, it's one of those magic big numbers, because it's missing the 9 in there, the king, but it's also there, right? Because 7 plus 2 is your 9. So 911, again, you put it in there, it's 128. That's similar, because it's 911, but the 9's hidden. That's telling us that what we're watching here, God is hidden. And where is anything ever hidden? Where can it ever be hidden from us? Except in plain sight. It is us. It's all of it. It's everything. God's not out on the set. It's you observing. It's your observer. That's the creator. But yeah, those, every corporate logo is going to be mobbed up with all kinds of Masonic coding. Of course, the only way it could be. But yeah, those stores, special punishment for the Antichrist kings. 7-Eleven. You think that's accidental? Sweet Babylon. Yeah, because that's what you're doing when you go in there and think you need something. And he torments Satan for eternity. 7-Eleven. Satan is just when you're taking your free will God spirit and you're getting lost in the illusion. That's what Satan is. It's where it exists. That's why the devil's on one shoulder and the angel's on the other shoulder. It's you. It's your decisions, your behaviors. People dreaming up there's like, oh, this is great evil Satan out there, and he's supposed to be battling God, and you're watching the show. It's you. It's your purpose here. So we're looking at we're just observing God's handiwork at this point. It's written in every thing you look at here. There will be certain areas where the nodes are a little bit stronger in that fabric of life, and we can study those ones, and they may have more power than the other pieces. But the first movement of the mind is when the 1 becomes the 2. That was Wilhelm Reich's orgone symbol. If you want to go look into that, it's the arrow. That's the original thought. It's going on every moment for eternity, and then it splits. So those ratios, we've discussed a couple of them, but maybe just remind yourself that because you're created to those same Masonic symbols. Your whole body is in the ratio of 5. So take the 2 knuckles on your finger and divide it by the third one, and that's 1.61. It's in every part of your body. Put your arms out, your height. That's 5 ratio. Fibonacci is the spiral. 1 plus 1 is 2. Then what's next? 2 plus 1 is 3. Well, what's next? 3 plus 5. 5 plus 8. 13. 21. 34. And that is just the structure, the spiral. It's like a nautilus shell. It's a Fibonacci ratio. Obviously pi for a circle, but those numbers are infinite in that pi. uh, number 7, if you divide it into anything, or it's divided by any other number, it goes for eternity. It's the only number that does that. So pretty magical ratios. You know, the Bible is what it is, but it's so detailed. You know, it's a pattern. It's not like a normal book, right? You can't just sit down and but the codes in there are always they just jump out at you, those synchronicities. So I mean, Matthew 7:11, ask, seek, knock. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock at the door and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds. And to the one who knocks, the door will be open. It's just like Gospel of Thomas. It's just telling you that if you want that, because you are the God, and you seek it, you will find. And then Matthew 9, which of you, if your son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, give him a snake? If then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? So just as you care so much about your child and helping them, that love, think about that. I saw that in Julie's video, the Judah coming up, right? This design of this God game out here is to pull that up out of your heart. But that's the little projection of it. All that you feel from what is to you from the God, right? A pattern is, when you start shining this light on the shadows, there's going to be some dark things. There's people that don't want that light. They're either too committed to it in their dream, or they're part of the test, the 7-8, right? It's the 7.83 Earth frequency. It's not the only frequency the Earth has ever been at. It shifts. It's a living organism. The mind is, ebbs and flows. Someone asks, like, well, what's the tides? Where do the tides come from? It's the Earth taking a breath. It's in motion. It's alive. It's all alive. Maybe just review that. The Bible. Well, the bulls. There's 2 bulls. Abel, and then Cain. It's the left hemisphere, and that's Cain killed Abel, and stumbled down here into the Samadhi world, and that's why Moses parted the seas between your 2 spheres of your head. God comes from the right, so that is where that death is when you're born, that you lose that memory that you are eternal and all powerful. Worry about that dying out here, that this is the most dead you'll ever be, because you don't remember. That those keep coming up from Rumi. The day you're born is like the saddest day. The day you die, you wake up and you see all that and you wonder why you were ever worried. But you don't have to wait for that one. You don't have to manufacture that one. You do that now. You're born again now. That's what it's for. You die in one little moment. We got to switch out your body, get another sleeve. So just do it now. Sounds better to me. It's sort of like my body. You've had other ones. You can go visit other things that you are. Mine was always a big, large, dark-skinned woman, just stirring the pot and just keeping an eye out on all the whole tribe there. And I remember I wanted to figure out, why can't these guys why they behave like that? Like, go dumb, And then now here I am as a male. Because that's what my mind was I wanted to know about that. I saw that lady on this set when I was in the Caribbean, Martina. She ran that whole town. Her house was the first one at that whole artery that anything that happened there, it had to go through her. She was a big, physically large woman and smartest one. I mean, she was the judge, jury, and executioner for that whole community. So these are roles that we have. So the bulls and so there's 2 bulls, but they're not in communication, right? That's what we're trying to reconnect that information. So the commandments can come through, and then that's what we put here, our left hand. That's what's left. It's on a set, a lot of places. I remember being at the Alhambra Castle in southern Spain, and there's the castle. It's pretty amazing, beautiful. Is it Moorish, Muslim, all those things, right? Because back then it was just one world religion. But then there's always a Jewish community right around it. And then it was the rest of the people out beyond that 3 layers. But, put up there like that guy was drinking juice, but, that's juice. And what is that element in? It's the media, the middle. Media is middle, and they're handling the money, right? And it's protecting the castle. But a lot of cities down there, and as you go into like Morocco too, that they didn't tear it all down, like the United States is so new or whatever, but they still have that pattern. Every town I went to there, it's like Jewish community. There's the markets and the cells, and it's still there. Just one group that got together to try to get some kids to step up and take control of our show is Event 202 instead of the Bill Gates. All that is 201. And I'm starting to think like someone said Tom Hanks, he's a Rockefeller. Yeah, of course. He's not just some guy in Cleveland that can act and got famous. That was just a cover story. You get to know him. They all are. Bill Clinton's not some guy from Arkansas. He's a Rockefeller. They're all part of that acting family. So that's all you ever find there. Looking at them. Oh, they all know each other. Yeah, of course they do. It's just the way it is designed. So Zion, we saw that number was 599, pretty close to that 6. I still see people keep saying the cover story. Oh, we're gonna have to take the mark of the beast if you want to participate in the economy. What's mark of the beast? 601. 601. Mission accomplished. The truth in there several times. The truth. Secret mission. Christ, God of earth. The time to break free. Serpents hate ice. The ice, that's what the pole ice are for. Put the poles on ice and see until they're ready. They're still frozen. 32nd degree. 33 degrees, the water can move. That's why you don't want to be on that ice forever. We were on ice for a while until we learned. Birth of the Messiah. Consequences. Lucifer, the fallen angel. You are Lucifer. Most people talk about, Lucifer. No, it's you. You're the light bearer. You're the consciousness. Light. It's not. It's hidden in plain sight. People worry about all that. No, Lucifer's a good thing. I mentioned the hallucination. I forgot to put the Lucy in there. It's the hollow, light, and the birth, the nation. It's a hallucination. That's what you're watching right now. You're hallucinating your whole life right now. You're projecting that as God. That's what it all is. The great test. Pretty good test. One in there, Run Paul. Now we have like Ron Paul. He's speaking up. He's got his lines to tell you. But it's for us to decipher that and decode that, because only we can do that as the 9 and the 6. That's not Run Paul. He can't do that for you, but he's going to say his things. The greatest marriage. That's when the 9 and the 6 see each other again. It's the return, the reunion. And unico Deus, one God. And Latin. People are catching on to that. Like, these languages aren't all that different. It's just like right down there at the bottom. When you come into it, then you can't understand what someone else is. But the roots are just very close. That Tower of Babel got spilled over, but you don't have to climb that far back up to get that, recognize that. That's just our little nuances, the way we speak. But it's not as separate, because there's one God. These guys were talking about you can communicate through breath. Before we develop languages and different part of the cycle, just direct mind communication. So that will be coming back, And so, that's why we just do these talks like this, right? There's no graphics, and so because a lot of information is just coming from the little twitches and stuff. That's the highest technology. God is the highest technology ever. All that artificial intelligence and technology is just an imitation of what we actually do. We are it. Anything you're afraid of, think about it again. How could it exist if it wasn't that way? Uh, obviously we know there's no viruses and germs, but what are the real threats that are out there? Like, yeah, well, some, congestive heart disease, right? The blood is getting clogged up, and the oxygen's not going to be able to get in there into the cells. Intravenous, they got all kinds of names, thrombosis, clots. So that would be the way, that system could hit you, that you want to pay attention to. Like, we talked about the dietary stuff, there's nothing you need to eat in samadhi whatsoever. So any talk after that is just, you have to take that into account. You don't need salt, Himalayan salt. But it's the table salt is so bad, it's 1/3 glass, sand, and sodium chloride. So that, it abrades that epithelial lining all throughout those tubes in your body. You get the big ones, but look up in the microscope, and that just goes like the tiniest little tubes you can ever imagine. So it's a very intricate, delicate tube system, and that stuff damages those walls, and then that's when the cholesterol has to come in there and try to patch it up, and then that can clog it. So you get all that, and then the liver makes that cholesterol for that. Dietary cholesterol is just, you gotta get rid of it. Don't worry about all that. If you're eating a whole bunch of that stuff, yes, it might spill over in there to your blood, just compound that problem. But why I don't even hear about people talking about cholesterol anymore. We're not supposed to be afraid of that, right? There's only so much bandwidth on that projection for you to scare yourself with. But there were some funny books. Of course, that's all nonsense. Great cholesterol con. But one guy was pretty funny about how he explained it. But he found that even just where people lived, they lived in these like real sterile, big industrial buildings, like you might see in a downtown in the hood. Or what, it just takes your spirit. It robs it. And those people were dying from heart attacks a lot more than people who lived in the country, in the nature. So your external, that environment, yeah, it does make you sick, because we're making ourselves sick. That's the only way you can really get sick, by you manufacturing it. Some guy was down in Brazil, it's real down here, people are dying because they believe it. You believe that you manufacture that. That's the only place it exists, is in your mind. That's where you want to guard that, your kingdom up there. There was another, for the Iraqi war. Is there still a war in Iraq? But apparently part of the Kuwaiti, when they had to move, a big group of them had to like move into a city, they still had their strict diet. One thing you could say about the Muslim, they pay attention to diet, they're still doing it all wrong. The dumb stuff. But at least they know it's something important. Here we just have all you can eat, spaghetti dinner at the church. But when they moved, they started having a lot more heart attacks and strokes. But the only thing they could think of was they were cleaning they were using the washing machines, or the dishwashing machines, and the cleaner in there's chemicals in that as well that will do that same abrasion of your epithelial lining in there. So want to look at that. I don't even know what chemicals are the new ones now. Used to be triclosan in the hand sanitizer and all that, but same type of process. It's just an insult to those fine, delicate tissues in your body. That whole samadhi system is really not too much out there that is of assistance. It's like maybe going into like the ocean and get those minerals. You can drink that Epsom salt too. It'll get stuff moving if you're still in that phase where you got a bunch of stuff that you want to get rid of. But yeah, in 1918, that's even out. Last time they did all this, well, they treated them with what? Aspirin, too much aspirin. You can overdose on that quick. So the blood is like this plasma energy tissue. It does all that stuff, amazing stuff, but you put that in there, aspirin, it turns it into just liquid goo. Like heparin is the other blood thinner. That's the solution for illness, to thin the blood. And we're so keen on you get high blood pressure. Sometimes you need high blood pressure. Body is so smart, it do all that stuff. It's more healthy to have a little bit higher cholesterol as you get older. So everything they tell you in that system, take statins. Now your brain can't even fix itself from the statins. So I heard one other person, they said, well, cancer, we're going to find a cure for cancer. Tumors are a symptom. It's not a disease. It's a symptom of your body trying to keep your ass alive from your bad decisions. Because now in your lymphatic system that's all acidic, it's going to start acting up through all those pathways. Starts turning to candida, fungus, mold. You don't want that going on, so it makes a tumor to put all that garbage in one place in the hopes that later it will go away. And it sometimes does. Spontaneously remisses. There are genes for making tumors and for taking them away. The Creator put that in there for that purpose. People trying to kill it. That's the wrong mindset, to go in there and try to kill something in your body. It's doing everything that it can by perfect design. That's that Creator that people are ignoring out there. They got their mask on. They don't even have any idea that they have a Creator in them. It is them. So that's just, have some compassion that they're that lost. But we were lost too. Truth community, we got to just keep going. We already figured out how many of us are going to do that. That's our role. And the Muggles have a role too. And it's all connected. It keeps popping into my head that the Truman Show movie, because he was the true man, and there's all these people in that town seemingly going about their regularly scheduled activities. But then when Truman starts questioning it, what do? They're like that big dog on the couch, right? Who looks right down in there like, what are you doing? But what's really going on? Well, it is the element of truth in that, right? In all movies, nothing comes from nothing. It is all about you and your play. It is for them too, and you're part of their play, sure, but you have a different role, right? Someone had to add up your birthday numbers and what's your role? Mine was number 1, leader. So we are all infinitely interested in each other, but we have those personality roles that make the God game what it is, So that's a test. If you just want to knock someone in the head and, hey, you dumb idiot, you're not seeing that they are you. They're there to hone you, for you to play your role. So just coming to that awareness that, not everyone's going to be the same. People have, certain gifts and things that they do that they're written into our life. So step up and accept, your role. You got to figure out what it is too, Yeah, it's been a few days. Just got busy yesterday. It's just a few, the proof, people's like, oh, I always wanted, well, what's the proof of that there is this higher power? There are things on the set, probably up in Tibet, like up in those caves. You find some of that old books and stuff. And where's Eddie Vedder? And why isn't Tibet and China's invading them? Why isn't that on the script in the news? Or we're worried about that. What happened to Tibet? We just forgot about it. I remember. But yeah, up in there in those mountains, it's hard for that balance system to wipe it all out, if that's what it's even doing. I don't know. Supposedly a guy went up there in the 30s, a British guy, and they're still levitating objects through chanting. So that's another part of our human powers. Of course, physics is all there. How else would they move these giant blocks? I mean, go look at that place in Peru, Machu Picchu. We didn't even discover it because it was so far up this mountain. It's hell to get up there. But what's up there, and it's like in this middle stages, wasn't even completely built yet. So yeah, that's stuff that, I saw that. I went, damn. Milarepa, handprint. So there's a cave in, I think, India or somewhere, but he was touched special, and he just took his hand and pushed it into a rock, and it's still there, and people go see it. It's just so much. I mean, you find, Roman coins in North Carolina. I've never seen that. Copper mines in Michigan. Well, there's still copper mines there, but it's just like little people getting a little bit of copper. But if you go down in there, it's a huge amount that's missing in those. So yeah, it's quite a impressive stage set, and there's still stuff there for us to appreciate that. That yeah, there's a little bit more going on here than we may have been led into in our little tightly controlled public school education, but that was probably just to get us through that gate, you know. Yeah, but just the living God, it's alive. It occurs over and over. Don't read a book and or look for it in someone else. It is in them too. Everything that's alive that's the God observing itself, but not as a stage object. You know, it's that tree back there. It's all this. It's the ether, energy. There was a guy who was like a psychologist in Germany. You know, probably like 40s, and he was schizophrenic. He went schizophrenic, but then he came back and he wrote a book about it, what his experiences were, and then he was schizophrenic again for the rest of his life. In that book, this observer, you know, he saw the rays of energy, and they were, you know, he was interacting with these other intelligences, you know, from his observer got out of his body, right? And so he looked schizophrenic and crazy to all the ones on this frequency, but obviously his observer went somewhere. He came back and wrote a book on it. I cannot remember the name of it, but just, you know, another little piece of the experiential puzzle stuff, clues that are out there. That, oh yeah, it is a there is something else to this than just what we've been watching as kids here on the stage. I don't even know. It took this couple. They were going down to the courthouse downtown in the middle for DUI. I just started explaining to them, because I mean, I knew something you have to know in your heart. If you're going to find yourself in a situation like that, that's the only place it counts. But you know, I just hey, don't step in there and say, just ask the judge if he's your benefactor. I've seen it on videos that judges get up and walk out. They're like, get that person away from here, because that game that they're playing there, it's going to continue. But that person who's cannot be part of that would expose that part of it. You're the beneficiary. It's all about you, Truman. Money is coming from your account. You don't know you have it. Maybe it exists out there. That's just a KV trust, but it's still on the set. It's just symbolic of the real unlimited money, energy that your living body is. That's how valuable it is. So just a big test. Just make sure that you're ready to take over that manufacture your show. You know, it's a big responsibility. Call that judge by his first name. That brings everything. You know, he's sitting up on his higher than you with his black robe, and you know, you're just, hey, I'm just down here making a one-time special appearance for my all caps U.S. or corporate estate. That's it. I'm a living man. That's what's at issue. That's what the only thing that could be in that court is a corporation. Corpse is dead, speaking. But you're the executor in the office of that entity. And you're there to speak as a living man. The courts and those judges, I don't know how much they know, but they know the rules. And that's why they always got to ask you for that name. First things first. Every cop. Name. So, you know, who knows? But at least I, you know, dropped a little bit in there, and they got out there real appreciative. You know, it's like, yeah, this is great. And I mean, kind of a funny one. One guy he was like, "Oh, do I have to wear a mask?" I was scared. You know, I was like, because I had my, you know, over my mouth thing. I was like, no. And he's like, oh, good. Then you don't either. And we talked. And he got it. You know, got into all kinds of stuff, terrain theory. You know, and but he pointed out that his mechanics only got one lung. So he can't wear a mask. You know, we kill him. It's not going to be long before some lawyer is going to be in a restaurant and who's got like COPD, and they're going to say, well, we're not going to serve you. He's going to sue them for attempted murder. That's what it is. I can already feel that. It's already happened somewhere, or it's going to happen. That would be in that script. Because that's how ridiculous it is to not breathe. If someone has a health condition, we talked about that. Just you have a health condition, nobody can ask you about that. So God has already put your remedy there, and it's not that hard. You just have to embody that and know that in your heart, right? Take that beast, that mark of the beast, the best, right? It's just so subtle. It's the best, to based. It's good. It's a good thing. In the projection, it's going to be upside down. But that mark of the beast is love in your heart. And then that is what your thoughts, the manufacture that's manifesting, is coming from love. That's what it's all about. All right, everybody. So yeah, I'm just going to keep spitting this. All this stupid stuff. We talk about turning off the TV. That's good, but TV for me is still on Facebook. All people are like freaking themselves out. Child sex trafficking, eating. I'm gonna have to start cleaning that court up a little bit too. I mean, I'll watch it for a minute and just keep dropping this in, but that's gonna be you're gonna have to prove that. You have to earn that. I'll help you out with that. Why are you giving all your loose to something that doesn't even exist? It's just a 7/8. You can't get rid of that on the set. It has to come from your heart, the 6 and the 9. They're doing that because that's you doing that to yourself to get your attention. And now you got someone else in the set that's telling you that. So not too many more excuses for feeding into that fear. Just a fear game. Those kids scaring kids down there in the cave watching the shadows on the wall. Go listen to Instant Karma and Watching the Wheels by John Lennon, and then figure out what he's really singing about. Is he a simp? Yeah, he's probably still living up in Canada. Yeah, but you can feel that passion. God would reach out and snatch you by the neck. That song's an eternal song. He's just the one performing it for you, through you, by you, when you're ready to understand that. But he's watching shadows on the wall. You think you're a superstar, right? You are. You're a rock star. That portal down here, the real rock stars, took on physical form as a rock. And we rocked. Now are we going to roll? You want to rock first and stand on the land, and then now you can really roll because you're in control of your roll, your show. To be a rock and not to roll. That's what Zeppelin was telling you. Again. So I'm here to tell you it again. So we'll just keep. It takes repetition, right? I mean, the techniques that they use on us, repetition, local news, over and over and over and over. Why? Because it works to test you. So that works. Then adopt that technique and keep putting this, dropping this in, sprinkle a little fairy dust in there, and see if it grows. That's just the way we do it. It's how we build the community. More and more people coming out. Just a little, anything. Just eyes, face, where you at, what's going on, That's why I want to get to know now. I got all these thousands of friends on there. You only get 5,000 by design. That's what your mind can handle. I want to get to know everyone and help. That's what Facebook is for. That's what we designed it for. To reconnect, rediscover, reunion, reunite, reignite, the ignition. St. Ignatius. That's what it's all about. That fire. Taking that candle and lighting the other person's fire. It's unlimited. It's love. It's not that child's game, hiding stuff. Only a child can play that game. Now it's time to put away childish things when you become a man. Yeah, I mean, some old friend, but he's like, like flat Earth. It's a realm, for one. There's not oceans underneath. There's not people standing in Ecuador, like, perpendicular to you. Think about it. But maybe that's not their role. They're too invested in the consensus reality. And that's okay. That's their personality role in your play. But yeah, if you probably don't want to argue that with me, because there's no, it won't end well for you. Um, but I'm past that. You know, you don't. I'm not. I'll try to help if that's a part of your. If you're asking, you sincerely want to know why did they do it all like that. Um, we can go through it, but no, water needs a container, just like it does in your kitchen. Level. Air pressure requires a container. That's how you make air pressure. The vacuum of space. What stops it? You just never. You didn't know what you actually believed by believing that until you went out and look at it. But maybe you haven't. But I did, and I was like, oh, that's incredibly impossible. How could I ever think that? Well, that's why, because that's how your mind will just. You get that confirmation bias anywhere you look. But we were just told that as little kids, and we never questioned it. Because scientists and experts and some grad school old friend, and he's like, we already have all experts and the doctors, and so just wear your mask. I mean, that's where he's stuck. He's still telling people they're monkeys on a spinning ball. Probably will never be able to break out of that because his paycheck depends on it and his family. So yeah, that's tough. But that's a role too. It's one you're manufacturing. So roll with it. Try not to hurt anyone. Right? Do you. I'll do me. It's not my place to like shake him up and say, hey man, there's fucking God's living in you. I might like to, but it's their journey. So they take the wheel of the car now because we're responsible. We know what we're doing. We're not hurting anyone. People worry about hell, going to hell. We've talked about that. It's all right here together. It's just your choice. But if you want to see what hell is on the set, it's in the slaughterhouses. Because that's you doing that to you, the life in you. That's a place that can't go on into new vibration. That's why Bill Gates is say, hey, eat some plant-based meat for Christ's sakes. Is that evil? No, it's part of that script. That's what it's all trying to do. To get rid of that stuff. That can't occur. It doesn't occur at that frequency level. That's why it's getting eliminated. You think you're a truther and you're still eating yourself, you've got more work to do. You have to think through these layers. There's other stuff you can put in your body to transition off of that. So the guys are talking about, that's the freedom, physiological freedom. From whatever you eat, just eat it for pleasure and don't break the law until your body's ready. It's not going to be instantaneous, but the first thought is your mind, and now that starts changing your body. I mean, I had a piece of pepperoni pizza. I knew it though, my thought, but I'm still trying to have some earthly experiences here because it will come in handy as down the road. So I'm not like, oh, it's so much different. You don't want to be that much different. No one wants to listen to that guy, who's already up on the mountain. He has really nothing to say because he's figured it all out. They exist. But that's not my stage right now. You don't just walk up the mountain, right? It's a lot involved. It's a big play. So I'll beat myself up. I just want to see what it does to make you feel like. Like, it grounds you into this reality. But, don't force yourself into a bad spot like punishment. It's not about it. When the frequency changes, it just goes away, just disappears. You don't need it. That's the only way things happen. That's a better way for that to happen than, put yourself in your own prison. It's tough enough as it is. You've got more rules for yourself to try to follow. So, yeah, just focus on what's good, and we put our lives, like what's going to be your average day. You're out there with your feet in the garden, in the soil, interact with the life, animals, your fellow man, commerce, share this message. Yeah, absolutely. Well, a few more stories, but I'll save them for the next one. Next magic day here, middle of July, finally the heat let up, a little bit of rain, but that thunder yesterday, that's you. We control the weather with our mind, because it's part of the realm. One big hive mind. So, finding what our role is in our life as creator. Beautiful thing. Love, love, love. Who are the real children that are being trafficked? It's an interesting word, trafficked. They use that word for a specific effect. The bay in the script. It's, you know, happened on a certain date. How many children? So it's like 10,000 children. How much does the baby cost? 10,000. That's what all that is. But so if you're stuck and worrying about that might be out there, well, I'm here to flip on the lights in the projector room, so you can see that. Oh, that was just part of the show you were watching until you were ready. All right, everybody, shine that light. All right, till next time. What's up?